Good evening and thanks for joining us. This is Times News and my name is Sarah Chilora. First, the headlines. President Lazarus Chakwera calls for mindset change on sign language. National Construction Industry Council suspends Mzuzu University Library and Auditorium Complex construction works. Road accidents have risen by over 1,000 in first half of this year as compared to last year. We have these and many other stories. Please do stay with us. In our first story, President Lazarus Chakwera says time has come for Malawians to change their mindset and stop regarding sign language as a favor for deaf people. Chakwera was speaking in Lilongwe on Wednesday when he presided over commemorations for 2021 International Day of Sign Languages under the theme, We Sign for Human Rights. Taonga Sabola has more in this report.
The United Nations General Assembly proclaimed September 23 as the International Day of the Sign Languages in order to raise awareness of the importance of sign language in the full realization of human rights of people who are deaf. Here in Malawi, the day was celebrated on October 6 in Lilongwe under the theme, We Sign for Our Rights. Speaking during the event, President Lazarus Chakwera said he would like to see sign language being adopted everywhere, at every function, and by every institution.
We must stop thinking of sign language as a favor to deaf people. That kind of condescension has no place in this new Malawi that we're building. We need a re-education of our minds to regard sign language as a human right. Every person has the right to acquire language from the moment they are born, and that includes sign language for persons born with hearing impairments.
Minister of Gender, Disability and Social Welfare Patricia Kaliati said government intends to train many sign language interpreters who would be assigned to various government departments and agencies at district level to ease communication for the deaf.
My ministry further realized that there is a shortage of sign language interpreters in the country. As I'm speaking, we have 5 professional sign language, but also we have 40 of those who are in the communication, and we are looking forward to train them that they become fully and trained special sign language.
Speaking earlier, Malawi National Association for the Deaf chairperson Stefan Manea asked President Lazarus Chakwera to consider rolling out many secondary schools for the deaf from the current one secondary school, which caters for the whole country. According to the World Federation of the Deaf, there are more than 70 million deaf people worldwide. More than 80% of them live in developing countries. Collectively, they use more than 300 different sign languages.
The National Construction Industry Council, NCIC, has suspended the construction of Mzuzu University, Mzuni Library and Auditorium Complex due to what the council calls non-compliance to the 30% local subcontractors requirement. The contractor is China State Construction Engineering Limited. The requirement demands that foreign contractors subcontract not less than 30% of works in volume and value to Malawian firms. We have more in this report by Feston Malikeso.
In a letter that Times has seen dated October 4, 2021, which has been signed by NCIC Acting Chief Executive Officer Gerard Konje and has been sent to Mzuni, China State Construction Engineering Corporation and Design Studio Architects, the stop order would be lifted upon satisfactory evidence of compliance. Konje confirmed the development in an interview on Wednesday, saying regulations were flouted, hence the order. A visit at the site on Wednesday found it deserted. At the onset of the project, China State Construction Engineering Corporation Limited entered into a strategic cooperation agreement and subcontract agreement with FICID in September 2020 at a contractual amount of about 2.1 billion kwacha out of the total 7 billion kwacha project. The agreement was that FICID would provide electrical installations and provide sanitary fittings. However, FICID pulled out of the project on April 21, 2021 and later went to court. In an interview, FICID Chief of External Operations and Head of Drilling Operations, Jack Kujaliwa, said they went to court because the contractor was avoiding to meet them. Kujaliwa said they were never introduced to the construction site for over 6 months, which raised suspicions on the type of the agreement they had entered into. But in a letter from China State Construction Engineering Limited, says at the time FICID was going to court, the company was still doing excavation works on the site and there was no need for them to invite FICID to the site. Officials from Nzuni were not readily available for a comment when contacted on Wednesday. Construction of the Nzuni Library and Auditorium Complex started in November 2020 and was launched by Minister of Education Agnes Nyalonje, who at that time warned against corruption and unnecessary delays of the project being financed by Malawians. The project is expected to be completed in 24 months.
The Malawi Police Service, MPS, has disclosed that the country has registered more road accidents in the first half of this year as compared to the same time last year. Assistant National Police spokesperson Felix Misomali said in an interview that from January to June this year, there were 5,990 road accidents against 4,860 recorded last year. Please note that the visuals in this story are not from an actual accident, but mere stimulation for training purposes. Wezigausi reports.
Many of these road accidents were caused by reckless driving, unnecessary overtaking, and carelessness by pedestrians and cyclists. Police have also observed that young children, as young as 2-year-olds, are fond of playing along the road, which has also triggered an increment. Msomali says this year, 718 people lost their lives as compared to 616 people who lost their lives last year. He asked parents to play a crucial role in guarding their young ones to avoid cases of child accidents.
We would like to urge all school-going children to be very careful when crossing the road or when using the roads. To as young as 2, 1-year-old plus others, we would like to urge parents and guardians to assist them when using the roads, especially when crossing or moving along the roads.
The police have since issued a warning to all road users to be careful when using the road.
With a population of over 18 million, Malawi has only 3 practicing psychologists and not more than 100 trained psychosocial counselors. This is amid rising cases of mental health related challenges. The development has worried stakeholders in the field, St. John of God College of Health Sciences and Global Seed Health, who have since called for concerted efforts to change the situation. Feston Malegezo reports.
Figures from police show that suicide cases have increased by 42% from January to March this year, where the country recorded 76 suicide cases compared to 44 cases in the same period in 2020. Major reasons causing the steady rise of the cases, according to officials, include marital problems, financial challenges, and COVID-19 has aggravated the situation. Speaking on Tuesday after Global Seed Health donated various personal protective equipment to the institution, St. John of God Director Dr. Charles Masulani said the country has minimal health workforce, particularly dealing with mental health. St. John of God trains psychiatric nurses and clinical officers and psychosocial counselors and sees over 9,000 patients with mental health problems monthly.
We have very minimum human resource for mental health in Malawi. Actually, the current Malawi mental health policy has a pillar that focuses on improving capacity development for staff to work in mental health. You would appreciate to see that there are less than 5 practicing clinical psychologists. There are very few psychiatrists. I think there are only 3 psychiatrists that are working in Malawi, and also we have very few counselors.
In her remarks, Global Seed Health Country Director Tionge Moyo said due to COVID-19, interactions among people have been restricted, which has given rise to depression, suicidal thoughts, stress and anxiety.
Those people are isolated. There are restrictions in terms of interactions, personal interactions among communities, among family members, relatives. So due to this, some feel that they are isolated, and this brings about some challenges in terms of mental health, mental well-being, suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, things like that develop among people.
According to SEED, the PPE's donation to its partners in Malawi, St. John of God College of Health Sciences, has cost them over 32 million kwacha.
SADC ministers on Wednesday started discussing the bloc's position on the post-Cotonou Partnership Agreement and the proposed Neighborhood Development and International Cooperation Instrument in IDICI. The extraordinary SADC Council of Ministers meeting is underway in Lilongwe. Rebecca Chinjeka has more in this report, read by Fali Banda.
The agreement is composed of issues of human rights, democracy, and governance in people-centered and rights-based societies, peace and security, human and social development, environmental sustainability, and climate change, inclusive sustainable economic growth development, and migration and mobility. Speaking during the opening of the meeting, the chairperson for the SADC Council of Ministers, Ezinho Nkaka, said the ministers want to figure out specific governance to manage and steer the relations with the EU. SADC Executive Secretary Arias Magosi said the organization needs to look at the EU new proposed partnerships. Magosi said he noted that there are risks and challenges associated with the proposed new approach in the Organization of Africa, Caribbean and Pacific States, the OSCPs, the EU Partnership Agreement and the Neighborhood Development and International Cooperation Instrument, which is not addressed by SADC. He said the SADC region has enjoyed strategic cooperation in implementing the regional integration agenda with the EU for decades.
The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, says it has scaled up early warning systems to mitigate the impact of disasters during the 2021-2022 rainfall season, as there are fears of flooding in some parts of the country. Among other systems, the department has placed early warning gadgets in major rivers which are prone to flooding across the country. Feston Malegezo has filed this report.
DODMA Deputy Director for Risk Reduction, Fedson Chukuse, says the gadgets are programmed to detect possible floods and hence alert people in time. Chukuse was speaking in Mzuzu at a report dissemination meeting of the 2021-2022 season forecast by the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services. This comes at a time people in flood-prone areas such as Karonga, Nsanja and Chikwawa have a number without count been told to evacuate from those places, a call that has not been taken seriously.
We have placed some early warning gadgets in some major rivers that flood frequently. So we have put early warning gadgets in those areas to make sure that once there is a likelihood of flooding, people should be informed well in advance so that they should be able to move from their low-lying areas and move to safety or to move to evacuation centers.
Meanwhile, Chief Meteorologist in the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services, Amos Ntonia, appeals to Malawians to be religiously following weather updates, as that would avert accidents.
Of late, we can say that we are having the confidence of the public of Malawi when it comes to providing weather information. We do provide information in terms of weather updates. These are daily weather updates. We also provide warnings wherever necessary, especially maybe when we are having like Mwera winds on the lake. We also provide these long-range seasonal forecasts. We have taken feedback across the years, and we are happy to say that people are now keen to pay attention to what we are saying and to even take action on those.
The 2021-2022 rainfall forecast indicates that there is a high chance of many parts of the country receiving good rainfall amounts. However, extreme weather events such as heavy rains leading to floods are likely to occur in prone areas, while some parts of the country may experience pockets of prolonged dry spells during the season.
Remember, you're watching the news on Times TV. We'll be right back soon after this break.
We all start differently, but we can all start with the strongest protection. Because some start early, others start late. Some from little homes, others from big ones. Some start together, or all on their own.
It doesn't matter how you start, as long as you start strong. With new Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection. Now with fluoride plus arginine for 4 times more strengthening power. So that you can give them the strongest start to their day. Colgate. Start strong, stay strong.
Unayo ndiyo daliliga
kutumiza
umanso kulandira ndalama
osatengera banki
kapena nambala
yomwe muli nayo
unayo zonse mommo
imbani star 24/7 hash kuti mulembetse mwaulere. Standard Bank, it can be.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
UNICAF University, September to October 2021 intake. Special scholarships from UNICAF University for bachelor, master's and doctoral degree programs. UNICAF University is accredited nationally by the NCHE and internationally by the British Accreditation Council in the UK. Enroll for internationally recognized degrees at a fraction of the cost until the end of October 2021. Apply today and get a free tablet when you pay the required deposit. WhatsApp 0993 907 002.
Welcome back. Still in the news, in a bid to defuse an ongoing staff strike, Minister of Housing Kezi Msukwa on Tuesday met and held discussions with disgruntled workers at Malawi Housing Corporation in Blantyre. Msukwa said, having discussed with the workers, he was going to take the issues to the corporation's board, adding they are simply issues bordering on their welfare. Thomas Kacheri has more in this report.
After noting the strike had entered into a third day, Minister of Housing Keni Msukwa decided to come in and help. He said having met the workers' union and the management, he promised to take up the issues to the board so that it is mandated to go ahead and implement what was agreed upon. He however assured the staff that they should expect the implementation of the demands as soon as possible.
We as a ministry have really felt that there were not difficult issues to deal with, but maybe there was just some misunderstanding here and there. The misunderstandings came in because of the financial position of the corporation, but otherwise there were issues that we thought we should be able to sort them. Having met the workers' union and the management, I'm taking the issue to the board tomorrow. So that we should mandate the board to go ahead and implement what we have agreed. But there is nothing new really. All the issues that were being raised is basically because of the timing.
President for Malawi Housing Workers Union, Kondwani Chitimbe, said at the moment they have called off the strike because the solution has been found after the discussions.
We were lucky because we had two ministers, Deputy Minister and the Minister of Lands. So we had at least a switch discussion, of which finally we have found a solution. The solution is that they have heard our concerns, our grievances. Then they said they will sort out as soon as possible.
Also in attendance was Deputy Minister of Lands, Abidamia. Malawi Housing Corporation members of staff have been holding their strike since Friday last week as one way of expressing their anger with what they called poor management. For the past 3 working days, the staff have been chanting songs outside MHC headquarters.
Old Mutual Malawi has emphasized the importance of forming and fostering credible relationships with suppliers to achieve better business performance. This was said during a masterclass held in partnership with the Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, MUBUS, to help their suppliers and other stakeholders increase entrepreneurial opportunities in their businesses. Yamikani Kachaje reports.
The firm believes that through this venture and a focus on MUBUS masterclass training, they will be able to impart some of the key strategies needed in order to be resilient entrepreneurs, especially amid hard circumstances such as the COVID pandemic era. Old Mutual Malawi Group Chief Executive Officer Edith Gia said this engagement will help establish and maintain long-term relationships with their stakeholders.
We thought that this arrangement would help us so that we actually align our expectations and the expectations that our suppliers have. This is the first time that we are organizing such an arrangement. You find that included within the supplier masterclass today, we will be talking about our own policy, procurement policy. We have also partnered with MUBUS to support our suppliers in ensuring that we develop and align our expectations. It is our belief that this is one way of contributing to the improvement and development of SMEs that actually engage with us.
Reunion Insurance CEO Dorothy Chapeyama was the keynote speaker at the event.
It's indeed true that I was addressing fellow entrepreneurs under the arrangement of Old Mutual, just to share ideas on how our businesses can thrive, especially during these hard times. So my message was that we don't have to give up just because we are in these hard situations, but we need to force ahead by looking at our internal operations. We need to improve on so many things, and we should not just give up just because we made a mistake somewhere.
One of the stakeholders in attendance, Status Carpeting and General Trading owner Mike Silia, rated this interface as essential.
This is a very unique opportunity for us entrepreneurs, more especially looking at it from the perspective that it is coming from a customer. Normally the tradition has been that the suppliers, they're the ones who quote buyers. But in this particular case, it is the buyer who is quoting the prospective supplier at his expense. It's a very indeed unique opportunity and a very good experience for us.
This is Old Mutual Malawi's first supplier engagement forum, and they say it will be held annually.
Some street pet vendors in Blantyre are seeking to legitimize their business, asking the authorities to consider allocating established spaces along the road where they can ply their trade. The vendors have also complained that the public is yet to acknowledge their business, as they are often suspected to have stolen their animals. Isaac Salima reports.
Pet vending is nowadays becoming a hot business. The vendors mostly ply their trade along the road in the country's major cities, targeting those driving. However, there are no proper places where the vendors conduct their business. People in the trade have since asked the state authorities to consider allocating them designated places where they can be selling the dogs. Goodson Chiwatu resides in Sochi Township in Blantyre. Each day he joins other pet vendors at Kamuzu Stadium along Makata Road. As he struggles to make ends meet, Chiwatu complains that they are always suspected to have stolen the young dogs and cats.
When we are selling dogs such as German Shepherds, some people come and accuse us of getting them through dubious means. They take us to the police. When we go to the police, we are not given back the dogs, even if it is proven that we have not stolen them.
Director of Social and Health Services at the Blantyre City Council, Dr. Emmanuel Kanjunjunju has since urged the vendors to apply to the city to be allocated places to be conducting their businesses.
It is a welcome idea. As you know, we are not encouraging street vending. And secondly, by them having an established place, that means all the animals that they will be selling will be certified by the veterinary.
Blantyre Police Publicist Peter Nchiza refuted assertions that they arrest the vendors anyhow, saying their cases are handled like another.
We've been receiving the complaints, and normally what we do when we receive a complaint, we deal with it like any other robbery case. Whenever somebody has reported, we open a case file and then we follow up with the issue. So if he's saying that my dog also is, I've seen my dog somewhere there with somebody selling it, offering it for sale. So we normally go there, and when we find him, we take him to police.
Other animal rights advocates have been accusing street pet vendors of infringing on animal rights and welfare.
That's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines once again. President Lazarus Chakwera calls for mindset change on sign language. National Construction Industry Council suspends Mzuzu University Library and Auditorium Complex construction works. Road accidents have risen by over 1,000 in the first half of the year. Remember, you can get more on this and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times360 Malawi, subscribing to 1895, and following us on Twitter at Times360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, mask up, and get vaccinated to prevent COVID-19. Please stay safe. You have been with me, Sarah Chilora. I wish you a lovely night.
Lois Lee.